Hey guys, welcome to today's Fit Talks. This is the first time we're doing something like this across platforms. For those of you who are joining us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, thank you so much for being here with us today. So we are at a cult center. I haven't been here in 6 months, so I'm really excited. And I have with me Mujtabha, who goes by Muji. Muji leads operations at Cult.Fit, and he's the one who's responsible for setting up Cult as it is now in the new normal. So he's going to be taking us through a walkthrough of the center to show us everything that has been done and how we are keeping you safe. So Muji, should we get started?
Yeah, thank you, Vidya. Good evening, guys. So I think if you look at this is a quintessential setup where when you're entering the center, this is how the center looks like. Before we launched, there were a few things that we wanted to do. So now the new setup, when you're entering a center, we will actually have a 4-point process that you have to go through while entering the center to ensure that you're safe. And the first thing that you'll have to do is, first you'll have to sanitize your hands. You have a foot-operated sanitization machine here. So you quickly press the pedal and just sanitize your hands. Now once that is done, then you move on to the next step, which is going to be sanitizing your shoes and footwear.
All of that.
Yeah, all of that is there for you to readily refer when you're at the center. So what you will do is you have to step into this liquid.
So first we start with the dry mat.
Yeah, you have a 3-step process. The first is the dry mat, so you dry your shoe. Then you step into this liquid. So this is a benzalkonium chloride solution, and then you step on the next mat. Yeah. So this mat, this you dry your footwear. So this ensures that when you are entering the center, your shoes are sanitized completely. The next step of the process is that you will have 2 health checks that we will do. One is we're going to check your temperature, body temperature. The second thing is that we will also check your blood oxygen levels. This will ensure that we are able to keep you guys safe inside the center. If there's anyone who has any symptomatic cases, we are actually going to manage them outside the center. On top of that, we are also going to kind of ask you to use the Arogya Setu app. It's not something which is mandated, but we do request you to use it because it will ensure that you are able to keep yourself more safe. So you don't have the app, but I have the app, so I'm going to actually kind of show my app status. Yeah.
So your center manager will check your temperature and make sure that you sanitize your hands so that
my app is green. Yeah. The next step is that one of the changes that we've done, and this is something that we wanted to do, is that we had a biometric-based attendance marking system. Now we've changed that to a touchless system here. It's going to be a QR-enabled system. So when you enter the center, after you have a booking, on the booking page, you can click on a QR code that will be there. And what you have to do is just show the QR code to the screen, and your attendance will be marked. Now, when the attendance is marked, there are a couple of things that will happen on the screen. You will be given information on 2 things. One is that if you are coming to the center and you have bought a water bottle or a yoga mat to be used at the center, now you will ask me, why do I have to buy a water bottle or a yoga mat? So a couple of changes have happened there also. To ensure that you guys are safe, any personalized equipment that you're using for your workout, which is a yoga mat or something like that, you will have to carry from your side. We will not be providing yoga mats at the center, but we know some of you may not have yoga mats. So what you can do is on the app while booking the class, you can attach and add a yoga mat, and also you can add a water bottle, and the center manager, while you're marking your attendance, will be able to hand it over to you from here. So the water bottles are there, the yoga mats are there, they can actually give it to you. If you want and you actually are feeling like using a visor while working out, you can also purchase one of them on the app or at the center here. And when you mark your attendance, the app is going to tell the center manager to please hand over a yoga mat or a water bottle to you. Yeah.
So Muji, I have a question, right? So I used to come from work and I used to change at the center, and the lockers were my best friend, right? So how does that work? Do I still get to use the locker? What happens to my shoes? Am I wearing my yoga shoes or am I wearing my outside shoes? How does all of that work?
Okay, so some changes there also. I think one of the things that you will see is that we sanitize your shoes while you're entering the center. Now the thought of that is that to ensure that whenever you're inside the center, you're walking around, you're using sanitized clean shoes. but you can still carry your workout shoes that you used to carry before, and you can put these shoes in the racks. The racks will be available, and after that you can carry your bags to the workout stations. And I'll talk about the stations in the next step. You will have dedicated workout stations for yourself, and the lockers will be out of bounds. The idea is to prevent aggregation at the center. So whichever is the process where you will find 220 people coming close together, those are the kind of options that we are not enabling. And primarily the rationale is to ensure that you are 6 feet apart at any point of time while at the center. If I can actually request you to look at the floor. So do you see this floor? You see these yellow circles all around?
Yeah.
Now these yellow circles are designated guidelines for you to move point to point, just to ensure that any point of time while you're at the center, you're keeping a safe distance from everyone else and you're comfortable, kind of moving around.
Got it. Makes sense. So here's the next thing I want to talk about. This looks really complicated. So what is this? Explain this.
Okay. So actually, yeah. So this is one of the more kind of drastic big changes that we've done. And I think the core tenet or the core reason for doing this is two-pronged. One is make it very, very simple for you to work out when you come to the center. I know this kind of seems overwhelming, but it's not. So the idea is that whenever you enter the center and you mark your attendance, there will be a designated slot which will be given to you. For all the customers who actually been to a Cult Center, you'll see those boxes and those markings on top of the boxes. You'll be given one of these boxes to work out in. The idea is to get a box, and the box will tell you exactly where do you stand and where do you have to work out. The second thing is that for all these boxes, there will be boxes around where we will ensure that those boxes are not being used. So you see these numbers? So we will be using alternate boxes to ensure that while you're working out at the center, you are 6 feet apart from anyone while the workout is going on. On top of this, one more change that we've done is to ensure that when you're entering the studio area, just to ensure that there is little overlap, the allocation of the boxes is done in a manner that when you are walking in first, you will get a row which does not impede other people while they're entering the workout area. So all of that is done. So it looks a bit fancy, but it's fairly simple and easy to use.
Yeah. So basically, when you mark your attendance, you get a box number.
Yeah.
You come here and figure out where your box number is, and you go straight to your
Go straight inside the workout area. Don't have to do anything. Carry your bag with you. Yeah. There will be ample space for you to store your bag at the workout station where you'll be working on.
So we're going to be looking at the workout stations in just a bit, but I have another question that again is really important. What happens to the change rooms and the washrooms? Because if I can't use the locker, then obviously I can't use the change room, right?
So yeah, one more thing that we've done is because washrooms are a constrained space, it was very important for us to ensure that the usage is done in a manner in which it ensures that you guys are safe. So all our washrooms will be available. When I say washroom, the toilets will be available, and the the wash basins will be available. The showers will not be available for now. And we have a single-use policy right now, which means that one person at any point of time can be inside the washroom, can use the washroom, and once they come out, only then the other person goes inside. There are a few changes that we've done inside the washrooms also. The taps which are operated inside the washroom will be touchless. So all you have to do is put your hand under the tap and the water will flow. You don't have to touch any fittings. And the second thing is, while you're leaving the washroom, nobody wants to touch the door after you've sanitized your hands. So we have a pedal-operated door, which means that you just have to put your foot on the pedal and just pull the door out so that you don't have to touch it. So those are the two changes. So, and I would request you guys to bear with us for some time, but that's only done for your safety.
But that's pretty amazing. I mean, I think now we understand why it took time for the cult centers to be up and running. These are a lot of changes, and I'm sure there's a lot of training that's gone on as well. Yeah. So yes, it did take time, but I think it's been worth it. I think touch-based taps are pretty cool. So I'm okay with that. Great. So I also want to talk about yoga, right? Now you said that you can sanitize your shoes and things like that. Are you allowed to take your shoes inside the yoga studio?
No. So if you're carrying your shoes outside, you will sanitize the shoes and you will place them in the shoe rack. After that, you can, like you were walking in before, you can walk into your workout station and keep your bags there and do the workout and then leave. So you don't have to carry your shoes along with you inside the yoga area or the workout area.
Right. So now we are going to part ways, and Muji is going to take you to meet Rishabh, who is also part of the session, and take you through how the workout flow is arranged, how the workouts look, how the equipment is arranged, and questions related to the workout basically. But before that, before we get into the questions part of it, keep your questions coming in because we will be taking live questions towards the end of the session. Any questions that you have for either Muji regarding operations or Rishabh regarding the workout, keep those questions coming in and we'll take it in a bit. I will also be playing our safety video which goes over these guidelines once more so you can see it and understand it a little bit better for yourself. But Muji, over to you. Show us how the workout area is.
Yes, thank you. See you later. So yeah, guys. So I think we spoke about how the center is, kind of set up. Now inside the workout area, you'll see a slightly different setup. I think I'll request the cameraman to just kind of pan out and show. So if you look at this, the entire floor has been divided into different locations now. The cones signify the stations which will be allocated to someone when they come in and actually do the attendance. So what you have to do is go and stand in your workout area, and this is your designated workout space. So technically, you are the only one who will be using this area. What we are also doing is for every designated area, there is designated equipment. So what you will get is, you will get the slots for where you have to stand and work out. You'll also get the slots for where you have to pick up the equipment from. This will ensure that you not only have a socially distant workout, but you also have a shareless workout. So you're not sharing equipment with anybody else. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is that one of the changes that has happened is that we are moving from a 15-minute to a 40-minute class. I think Rishabh will actually, kind of explain that a lot more. But one of the reasons that we are doing that is to actually ensure that we are sanitizing the centers while the classes happen between sessions. So if you can actually come with me, I'll actually tell you how the sanitization is done. Yeah. So we have a friend here who is actually sanitizing the centers. If you look at it, so this is a fumigation gun. What they are going to do is they're actually going to fumigate the center, and this is going to be done between each and every session. Now what he's using there, he's using a BKC, which is a benzalkonium chloride solution at a concentration of around 0.1%, which will have around 5 minutes to kind of sanitize the entire area before the next session starts. So hence there is a gap of around 15 minutes, 5 minutes for people to walk out, 5 minutes for the center to be sanitized, and then 5 minutes for the next batch to come in. Now, there is the rationale that why we are doing this is to ensure batch isolation, which means that every batch at the center actually interacts with as few people as possible, so that in an eventuality, if there's an issue or there's a kind of a case which we need to handle, we are able to better isolate and figure out who are the people who interacted with each other. So I think that's the whole reason of doing all of this. Now I'll slowly walk over to someone that all of you guys know. So please say hi to Rishabh.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. And Rishabh, before we start, I think we are in the workout area now.
Yeah.
So while you guys will also come to the workout area to work out, within the workout area, you don't need to wear the mask, because you will actually be at a distance of around 6 feet from each other, and you can work out without the mask. So I'm going to remove the mask for now. Yeah.
But make sure that you maintain social distancing,
yes,
like we are doing right now, and that's how the entire flow is designed here. So should I start talking about it, or?
I think we can do that in some time.
Hey guys, so I think we'll just quickly play the video while you guys settle down and get the laptop set up, so that our users can also see all of the guidelines once again, and then we'll get into the workout part of it.
For those who wish to lose hope, and to those who never see their goals, it's time to gear up, because Cult is back. As the world changes, we're not just changing along with it, we are redefining it. Because we are playing it safe, so you don't have to. So roll up your sleeves, get into the groove, and leave your worries at the doorstep. And experience the new way to work out with Cult. It's better, it's stronger, it's safer. Are you ready? It's time to unpause fitness. It's time to unpause Cult.
Okay, we're back. I hope that video answered whatever questions you had that didn't answer. I think Muji and explaining everything and taking us safety guidelines. But now I think I want to talk about how the actual workout is going to look. So again, we will be taking questions a little later in the session, so keep those questions coming in. But to start with, Rishabh, could you tell us how the workouts are set up? We saw in the safety video as well, it's a 40-minute workout. There are separate workout stations. So how do these workouts work right now?
Yeah, so first thing, because as Muji also mentioned, and since you also just asked, our workouts are have moved from 50 minutes to 40 minutes during the COVID restrictions. And the reason to do that is obviously safety of our members and safety of our trainers, of course. Why we want to do that is basically we want to batch isolate you. So when you come to the center, we want to ensure that you come in contact with as limited number of people as possible. And by contact also I mean there's no contact. You just working out in similar space. So we don't want you to be in similar space with too many people. So at any point in time, there will only be one batch working out inside on the floor. And when you move out is when the other batch comes in. So we want to ensure that, like I said, you face as little number of people as possible. That is one. Second, we also want to ensure that we do deep sanitization after every class. And deep sanitization of, everything in the facility, including the equipment, including the racks and stuff which are not even being used in our class design right now. But we want to ensure that everything gets deeply sanitized, ready for use for the next session, and for which we require 20 minutes at least. And after doing a lot of trial and error and everything, we've come down to about 20 minutes time. So that's the bare minimum which is needed. But that being said, moving to 40 minutes does not mean that our class experience and intensity is going to be compromised. In fact, Muji is a Cult member. He's one of our very regular Cult members. So I'm going to ask him to talk about it from a member point of view. But from our perspective, while the classes have moved to 40 minutes, when you come for a strength and conditioning or an HRX class, your equipment is placed right here. So if you see this, this is one rectangular box where, if you are an old Cult member, you know that we have floor markings for you to work out. So one rectangular box will be given for you to exercise. Now, right in front of you, there is going to be all the equipment that you need for the class, right? So which means that you don't move out of your box throughout the class. There is equipment right in front of you for you to be able to work out. Also right behind you, because the other person there is going to use that equipment. This also ensures social distancing. So at any point in time, you are far away from people working out in the center, and this also ensures that there is no waiting time. So if you have to go and pick up a barbell from the equipment rack, then obviously you end up spending a little time going and picking up the rack. There is other people also who want to pick up the barbell, etc., which takes some time, and that is taken care of because you have dumbbell, kettlebell, bumper plates, barbell, everything right here in the box. So you end up saving a lot of time. So from a work point of view, your body is still getting the same amount of work in 40 minutes because we are saving a lot of time through this design. So nothing gets compromised. From a workout intensity point of view, I have attended classes in Cult, and believe me, those were all great workouts. And I'm talking about attending classes after the COVID guidelines have come in. So it's great workout. All you need to know is that you have to show up and follow the instructions. Also for when it comes to boxing classes, to ensure your safety, we are right now not using boxing bags, but we've made some changes in how the class gets designed, and we end up using some dumbbells, some bands, etc., to ensure that you end up pushing a lot of intensity through the equipment. So again, in 40 minutes, you will get to learn good amount of boxing techniques, plus a lot of intensity will be pumped in. So I would highly recommend that you come and try those classes out. If you've been doing boxing before, you're still going to love it because a lot of intensity in those classes. If you're doing dance, or if you're doing yoga, if you're doing dance, again, the classes are still going to be 40 minutes. In the studios, you will have enough space around you to do all your movement, nothing gets compromised. And we've ensured that the high intensity choreography gets followed by a moderate intensity choreography, which otherwise would have been light intensity. So in terms of, again, the amount of work that your body is getting, it is pretty much similar, or maybe in some cases more than what you used to do before. So do try this out. It's very safe. You've now seen everything that we've done is in reality the safest gym in town.
That's true.
And from a workout point of view, we've got you covered. Now you see the space where we are sitting right now. This is where your trainer is gonna stand and give you all the Also, one change is that in the olden days you would have seen that there were 2 classes happening at a time, and right now it's only 1 class because we want to ensure you get all the space you need to maintain social distancing. So the trainer is going to be on the stage. The trainer will have the mic so that wherever you're standing, you still get the trainer is audible for you. And don't worry about posture correction because our trainers will ensure that through verbal cueing, all of that is covered. In fact, the class has been designed in a way that you don't really have to put too much thinking behind what to do, how to do, when to do, etc. It's all once you start doing it, it's very on an autopilot mode. We are not really going to challenge your motor control skills. What we'll focus on in these 40 minutes is giving you all the workout that you need through simple and very doable movements. And the trainers, our trainers are expert coaches. All of them through verbal cueing will ensure that wherever you're standing on the floor, if there is something that needs to be addressed, they will definitely address it through verbal cueing. So don't worry about that at all. From that point of view, you're completely covered. I forgot about yoga. So if you're coming for yoga classes, obviously you're going to have to carry your own mat, and we believe that it's not just about COVID. It's otherwise a good practice to carry your own mat, because if you're a serious yoga practitioner, you need to start connecting with the surface where you're practicing. And while we have done it right now for maintaining all the safety guidelines, at some point we might come back with the yoga mats, but for now you're going to have to carry your own mats for your safety, because obviously there will be a lot of contact. Yeah, so that's about it. But from a workout point of view, guaranteed you're all covered. But yeah, before we move on, I said Muji is a cult member.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear Muji's experience.
Yeah, I was actually listening intently to what all Rishabh was saying, and honestly, being kind of behind the scenes while we were designing all of this, it seemed like a lot of change. But believe me, the moment you enter the center and the moment the trainer starts introducing himself, those 40 minutes will be each and everything that you were doing before COVID hit. So the experience is completely nostalgic, transformative, and you remember the olden days when you were there was a lot of energy on the floor.
Yeah.
So I think whether it's 40 minutes, 50 minutes, it actually does not change a thing. In fact, the first class that I attended after lockdown, I think it actually took a toll on me. I realized that, what intensity kind of feels like, because I've been also working out kind of at my home and doing digital classes. But yeah, a completely different experience when I come to the center, and those 40 minutes kind of make up for the entire experience.
Yeah, in fact, we attended that class together. We did some matches and some dead bugs and stuff in that class. It was a killer. It was a 40-minute workout, and I've been working out pretty regularly even during the lockdown. But that workout did go easy on me as well. So it's going to be pretty solid workout experience when you come into a cult center. A lot of work has gone in, in terms of putting that into design. So I would highly recommend that you come and try it out, and do give us your feedback.
That's true. I think the thing about going to a cult center and working out is just that energy that you get from the group, right? And I think for a lot of our regular members, they want that intensity, they want that energy. So it's good to know that none of that has changed. And personally, it's so nice to be back in a cult center. I really, really miss this space. I can't wait to come back. So I'm really looking forward to it as well. I have another question that I wanted to ask you, Rishabh, before we move on to our user questions. What about the weights within each box? How do you decide what weight to put in? What if somebody wants a lighter weight or a heavier weight? How is that taken care of?
So basically, most boxes look pretty much identical, and the way the workout has been designed, it doesn't allow for too much loading anyway. If you come and try it out, you will see that there are different boxes with different type of weight. While in reality, it is mostly identical. There is not much of a difference in how we've placed every box, and it would be probably 10 kgs or 15 kgs or max 20 kgs of a difference. And we would ensure when you come in that you get your space allocated to you. You would ensure that you get the space, get the box which is right for you based on your training age. So again, a lot of work has gone into how the space allocation happens, and when you come in, you will find the equipment which is exactly right for you. And that, in my point of view, is the best thing that could happen, because in a workout, intensity is everything. Now, there might be scenarios when, and it's not just about people who are new to fitness or people who are advanced in fitness, or in fact somebody like me who's been working out for pretty much since I can remember. So the thing is that sometimes we end up overestimating ourselves or underestimating ourselves, and in the end, we don't really end up getting the best workout that we probably deserve. So when we overestimate ourselves, you end up maybe in the workout design you're supposed to do 12 repetitions, but with that weight you are maybe able to do only 6, and then you won't get the benefit that was intended in that class design. So if we tell you you got to do 12, you need to be lifting the load at which you should be able to do 12 with a good amount of difficulty. That 12th rep should be close to failure for you, right? So which is where I think based on the training age, when we decide which slot you get, what kind of weight or load you get for your barbell and for your dumbbell and for your kettlebells, I think that ensures that you get even better workout. But like I said, it is mostly identical. It is not very different, and the way every box is pretty much on the higher side, given that the way we design our workouts, it's not going to allow for too much loading and still give you a great workout.
Yeah, I think I can offer that personally. I was never in a situation in the past few weeks since I've been attending classes that I found the way to be. I found it optimal, and in fact, I think one of the things that the ease of actually not having to go and ferry the weights.
Yes.
You kind of the experience of that 40-minute being ample. Yeah, I think that really helped. Yeah.
That's true.
And like I said, I attended a bunch of classes. I do lift heavy, but it gave me some solid workout. There was, and I still couldn't lift all the weight which was available in my box. So I still had some extra equipment lying around. So just come and try this out, and I'm sure you'll get a great workout experience.
I'm sure. I'm 100% sure. I think anybody who's been to Cult in the past knows that the quality of the workout is not something that you can question at all. I actually have a question now from Muji. Muji, obviously, as we're talking, there's a lot of work that's gone on behind the scenes, both from a tech point of view as well as from an operations point of view. Is that why we're opening in a staggered manner, or is there another reason? Why are we opening one center at a time? We have a lot of questions from our users talking about when is this center going to open, when is that city going to open. So could you tell us a little bit more about that decision process?
Yeah, I think August 5th is when gyms were kind of given the permission or given the green light to open. I think the idea for us was two things. While we wanted to kind of open our centers as quickly as possible, we also wanted to create a product which made customers feel very safe while working out, because it's not about only coming once, right? I think for us it's very important to create a setup where people feel comfortable coming regularly, which is what current customers normally do. So I think that took a bit of time. The idea was to launch the first 6 centers. We launched in Bangalore, and we actually kind of spoke to our customers almost daily, kind of understanding their feedback, what can be improved. So a lot of what you see around is not only kind of problem solving from our side, it's also feedback from your side. I think the customers have actually kind of come back with a lot of feedback around what is working, what is not working, what needs to be scaled up, scaled down. And I think maybe around 3 weeks post is when we realized, okay, now we have a product that we are comfortable in scaling across the country, and that's when we kind of started opening centers in a staggered manner. I think still we are currently, as of now, launching centers almost every week. The idea is obviously to be present in the entire country as soon as possible, and we are kind of working towards that. But the entire idea of actually having a staggered launch was to do 2 things. One is obviously take consumer feedback and change the product, but also give customers time to get acclimatized to the new product, right? So that's why we are not launching all the centers in an area, starting slow with 1 center, then scaling to the 2nd center, then scaling to the 3rd center, just to give people ample time to acclimatize to the new setup, the new way of working out, and it also ensure that we're able to do things that scale without breaking them, right? So every single thing that you see at the center has many fold of processes behind the scenes which are happening, right? Not only this needs to scale, that needs to scale for us to ensure that everybody's safe at the center. And that was the entire process. But we are very sure that very soon all the centers that we have across the country will be live, and that day is not very far.
Yeah, just we know that it may be inconvenient for people if the center close to where they live or the center where they used to work out hasn't opened up yet. we totally acknowledge that fact. But it is going to open soon. Like he said, we are pretty much going to open all the centers across the country, and also, a lot of we want to ensure that even though now the processes have been established, we just did a walkthrough of the entire process, but that doesn't mean that we just go ahead and open all the centers right away, because before every center opens, we want to ensure that we've covered everything from a safety perspective, and we don't want to have any misses when our members come in and start working out. So that's where it takes a little bit of time, and that's the only time that it's going to take, and we're going to be live in all the centers soon.
Yeah, but honestly, I want to thank our customers for being very patient. I know I, as a Cult customer, I'm raring to work out. A lot of the customers will be, but just give us a bit of more time, and I'm very sure in the next, kind of few weeks and months, we'll be present across the country and all the centers across all cities. Yeah.
I think definitely this walkthrough for me has been super eye-opening, and even the conversation that we had with Naresh a couple of weeks ago, just the amount of effort that's gone into training everybody, into kind of making sure that everything works, tweaking it. I think that is the hallmark of the Cult experience, right? Like, we make sure that it's absolutely spot on before we open it up to the customers. So yes, like Muji said, thank you for being patient with us, but I am now 100% sure that you will enjoy the experience. So on that note, I'm going to jump into user questions. So like I said, this is the first time that we're going live on multiple platforms. So we have questions from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and we are live on YouTube, but I'm not sure if we have any questions there. So we'll get started. We have a question from Anup on Facebook, who asks, is there any immediately available medical facility? So what happens if there's an emergency of some sort?
I'm sorry, I got any medical assistance?
Medical assistance.
So I think this is something. So internally we call this as FLS, which is called Fire and Life Safety. In fact, when Rishabh was talking about readiness, this is actually primarily one of the fundamentals that we get ready on. And this is not only COVID. I think pre-COVID, fire and life safety is something that we have to focus on. Every center and the tagged area that the center is in, we are in constant touch with not only the health authorities, but also the emergency services in that area. So the center manager who is at the center obviously is trained in CPR and emergency health management. So is the trainer that is taking your class, and so is anyone else apart from anybody else, the customer who's at the center. I am trained, Rishabh is trained. So anyone from the Cult team who's there at the center will be able to manage a situation where there's an eventuality. On top of that, we are in constant touch with everyone in the area which can help us, whether it's fire services, whether it's medical services, or whether it's the kind of police station close by. So all of those things have been set up. On top of that, all our centers are also compliant when it comes to risks other than the health risks, right? You're talking about fire and safety, you're talking about structural issues, right? All of those things are also covered. So rest assured, when you're at the center, you're in safe hands. And we've also trained our team for COVID-related, management. I think one of the things that I spoke about when we were entering is the fact that you will be doing health checks at entrance, right? Now, some of you guys may ask the question, what happens if someone does not successfully pass the health check? So what we have is at the center, to ensure that everybody else is safe, we have designated isolation areas where we will isolate a person if he's kind of showing any symptoms, which may be kind of symptomatic of something, and then we actually kind of trigger a flow where the local authorities are kind of called in, and they kind of take it up from there and kind of help us manage the situation to ensure that everybody else at the center is not impacted. So yeah, we are ready to handle all eventualities at the center to ensure that you guys are safe.
That's really comforting to know. So I have another related question. Actually, this is a question that we get quite often. Okay, I'm going to kind of try and club a couple of questions. So Mahima from LinkedIn asks whether we need to wear masks while working out, which you said you don't need to. But we have a question also from Annapurna on LinkedIn, and another question from Rohan on Facebook. And they're talking about whether it's going to be suffocating. What about the ventilation? Especially Rohan says, with people breathing hard without masks, even one vacant workout box will not be enough to contain the virus spread. Have we done anything to address this issue?
Yeah, I think ventilation is a critical aspect. I think a lot of people think about it. I think one of the things that we have done over the past few years, and something that has actually put us in good stead for the current situation that we are in, is that we have 3 types of ventilation at the centers. So we have air conditioning, which is not technically ventilation, it's just conditioning. We have HVAC, which is technically a duct which actually pulls in fresh air from outside and puts the air inside the center. And we have exhaust systems which pull in the used air from the center and throw it out. Now, the current systems which are live inside Cult are capable of doing 6 air cycles per hour. Now, in simple terms, that means that the air inside the center is refreshed 6 times in 1 hour. So what that technically does is that there is no stale air inside the center. So that is one safety, kind of barrier that we have. The other thing is that most of our centers we don't have a centralized air conditioning. What we have is actually zonal ACs. We call them cassette ACs. So technically, in an area, there's an AC on top which actually circulates the air in that area only. What that also does is that while you're actually in an air conditioning setup, you're not actually sharing a lot of space with other folks. So these are the 2 things that actually help us manage this. On top of this, we are actually, ensuring that we are compliant with ASHRAE, which is technically the guideline organization which actually tells you what to keep the AC temperature inside a closed space to ensure that there is limited or less chance of the virus transmission. So we keep our ACs between 24 to 26 degrees and also ensure that we are in an ambient humidity of around 40 to 60%, where the chances of the virus being, kind of contagious or being able to survive is the least. So all of these things kind of ensure that you are safe while you're at the center. And these setups that I'm talking about, the exhaust setup to pull out the dirty air and the HVAC setup to bring in fresh air, they are working almost 24/7. We ensure that while the center is up, these systems are continuously, kind of working to ensure that the air that you breathe, while it may not be, kind of outdoors, it's as fresh as it gets. Yeah.
And these are things that, from a workout point of view, have always been important.
Yeah.
Not just because of COVID, and this has always been there at centers, and it has just placed the facility well in terms of current usage. But from a regular workout point of view, ventilation happens to be anyway important, and we have incorporated that in the facility design, right from the beginning.
That's
I want to add one more point to that. I think it's the way when we have designed these centers, to hold X capacity. Because of all the guidelines and the safety norms that we put in, we are actually running at almost 50% of that capacity. So these systems, the air and ventilation systems, are built to handle 2x the load, but they're only handling the load that we're putting them on right now. So fairly, confident and comfortable that you guys will get a good and safe workout inside this.
That's good, because it leads me to my next question, which comes from Rajvi Shah on Twitter, who asks, per session, how many members are allowed?
I think I kind of spoke about that. So one of the changes that we've done at the center is that earlier we used to have 2 classes running side by side, but now we are using the entire floor. But the entire floor is being used only to around 40 to 50% of the capacity that it has. So technically, in other terms, 1 out of 2 boxes are being used. For people who are familiar with the setup at Cult, which gives you ample space and it makes you feel as if you have more space and you're comfortable while working out.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And structurally, like I just, when I started talking, I spoke about how the equipment is placed. While that equipment placement is very functional because it gives you easy access to your equipment, that also ensures forced social distancing. So during the workout, if you end up losing your focus a little bit and moving away from your box, the equipment is not going to let you do that, because it's going to tell you, I'm here, this is my space, and you're going to be your space. So
the equipment is your workout buddy. It's not a person anymore. It's just the equipment.
And so when I attended the class, it felt like I was working out alone. There was so much space available.
Oh wow!
I just felt like I was completely working out alone, and we are pretty sure that the way the entire placement has been designed and the workouts have been designed, then how the delivery of the watts have been designed, there will always be more than 6 feet of this distance between 2 people inside the floor. And we are also, pretty very clear in terms of our SOPs, our operating procedures, in terms of how people enter, which means 1 person at a time, and how they leave, that also 1 person at a time, and also based on where you are standing at that point in time. So we would ensure that there is minimum, passing each other when you are entering or when you are exiting. And there is also an element of technology in that. When we allocate the boxes to you, we ensure that you don't end up, crossing too many people on the way. So all of those things have also been factored in when we, design this entire experience.
I think it's going to be engaging for us. Sorry.
The more I'm seeing how much work has gone into this, like, it's amazing that you guys have put in so much effort. I mean, hats off to the entire operations team, the tech team, the coaches, trainers, your team, Rishabh. I mean, I am just blown away by the amount of effort that you guys have given. So I wanna. You did talk about the spacing and things like that. How does that work for a dance fitness session? Um, you know, the question that we have comes from Twitter, from Mel Peaches. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. And we also have a question on Facebook from Shivali. Both of them ask like how the dance fitness sessions are going to look, what's the setup going to be like, how's that going to be?
So the question is that how does the slots work for dance fitness?
Yeah.
So yeah, we give you alternate slots, and the capacity logic is going to remain, which is about 50%. So if the space earlier had space for 20 people, it would only be 10 people, and the slots are going to be alternately given. And there are markings on the floor in all the studios. All the cult members know that. So it will be alternate slots. So the slot next to you is always going to be vacant. But for your use, we will mark the space which you are supposed to use. While the next slot is available to you, doesn't mean that you will be working out or dancing in that slot. You will be still dancing in your slot. That much to ensure there is social distancing. So the logic is pretty much similar, irrespective of the format. It's just that when it's strength and conditioning and HRX, the equipment is there to separate you out. But also on the dance floor, it's alternate slots, so you have slots vacant available right next to you in all cases. Also, the choreography has been designed in a way that you don't really end up encroaching into the slot available next to you. So it's for any format. It is a combination of how the facility logic has been designed, how the slotting has been designed, and how the workout combines with it. So it has to be a combined effort of both, because when a member comes in, they're going to be using the space and they're going to be doing the workout. So both go hand in hand in terms of execution.
So, okay, I just want to call out that we are probably going to just be live for 10 more minutes. I hope we can answer all of the questions that we have coming in. Let's see. Okay. This is an interesting question. It comes again from Melchis on Twitter, who asks, can we book multiple back-to-back sessions in a day like before?
Yeah, so I think we spoke about the fact that you have a 40-minute class and 20-minute break. So while you can book back-to-back sessions, obviously, but you will have to step out of the center and let us actually sanitize the center and then step in again and actually do the class. So that's something that you do for your safety and the safety of the next batch. But just to ensure that you don't overstrain yourself also, we had a cap of 4 classes per user that we had earlier. We've temporarily moved that to 2 classes per user, just to ensure that you're even though you're spending time at the center, you're not spending too much time at the center. So that's something that we've done for the current, foreseeable future. But obviously, we'll actually change it back to the 4 classes once things become slightly better. So, so you can do back-to-back classes, but the maximum number of classes that at any point of time is going to be 2 instead of the 4 that was earlier.
That being said, you still have unlimited classes,
unlimited classes
that you can attend. So if you want to book the 3rd class, you got to finish your 1st class and then your another. So basically, the thing is that any point in time you can book 2 sessions. For you to be booking the 3rd session, you have to finish the 1st session. So you still have unlimited classes available to you. Like before, nothing changes on that front, and you can obviously book back-to-back classes. It's just that you will have to vacate after the 40 minutes get over. You'll have to vacate, hang around outside for a bit, and then come back in again. Follow all the procedures, and we are very strict with that, and obviously for the safety of everyone at the same time.
That makes sense. And if what you're saying is right, Rishabh, and the classes are super intense, I feel like 2 sessions might be enough right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do 2 sessions. I don't see the need for that.
So there you have it, guys. Please don't book 4 sessions, because 2 sessions would be more than enough for even somebody like Rishabh. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment to shout out to a couple of people who have some really nice things to say. Special mention to Nidhi from LinkedIn, who says, so happy to see Cult.Fit live. Your.Fit had always cared for employees as much as customers. I'm sure it'll open again and achieve even greater heights than ever before. My best wishes. And she's ended it with, every crisis gives an opportunity to evolve, and Your.Fit has proved that by adapting itself. Thank you so much, Nidhi. It's honestly people like you and feedback like this that makes what we do so special. So thank you for taking the time to write that message. Okay, we did talk about weights and the difference that sort of as a woman or a man or a beginner or a advanced person. So we have a question from Sharda on YouTube who asks about the differences in weights. Sharda, we have answered this question on this video earlier. Rishabh did talk about it. So if you missed that, this video is going to be up, so you can go ahead and check it out for the answer to your question. Okay, right. So I think, okay, this is an interesting question. Rishabh, you did mention that we don't have bag workouts. So Rajvi asks whether we need to carry our own boxing gloves. So I'm guessing right now you don't need to, but in the future, would that be something that?
Yeah. So maybe I just answer that question. So right now we are not using bags and gloves, so you don't need to carry it. But like I said, you will be learning all the techniques, and you will be getting a great workout because we are incorporating some equipment in boxing. So if you like boxing and if you haven't tried it out, you should definitely come and give that a shot. With respect to gloves, I think it's a great practice to carry your own gloves, and whenever we start bag work again in boxing classes, we will highly recommend that you carry your own gloves. In fact, we will make good quality and affordable gloves available on the Your.Fit app, so that you don't have to really worry about where to buy it from, which one to go for, etc. So we will do that in future for sure.
And we do have boxing gloves already on the Your.Fit app via Cult Sport, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. There will be more in terms of variety.
Yeah. So okay, so I think we've pretty much covered everything. I just want to take one last question before we wrap up. We have a question from Kirti again on YouTube, and this is again a question that keeps coming up. How does this work now with the Your.Fit Live membership? So during the pandemic, the offline memberships were converted to online. So can you have both together? If you go back to offline, what happens to online memberships? Can you explain a little bit about that?
So while I think during the pandemic, I think one of the things that we wanted to do was for all Cult customers to kind of continue working out and kind of give them an option to work out, and hence for all customers who had Cult memberships when the pandemic hit, we had given them an option to actually have the free live access. But going forward in the new memberships, that will not be a feature for us, because we will obviously have our centers live and functioning. We are also trying to figure out if we can create other digital products which can work in tandem with Cult. But primarily for the live membership, while it was a benefit that we gave to all the existential Cult customers when the pandemic hit to enable them to work out while the centers were not available, that benefit will not continue in the new Cult memberships. Obviously, people who have it will continue to have it, but the new memberships that are being bought now for new customers, they will have a separate access for Cult, and they will have to purchase a separate membership for live. Primarily because the Cult centers are live and people can come and work out offline now. Yeah.
Got it. So this has been a super insightful session. We were supposed to end at 7:30, but we've carried on because there are so many interesting questions that we had to answer. Guys, I hope we managed to answer your questions as well as possible. If you missed any part of the questions, you can always go back and watch this video. If you have friends who are worried about going back to working out at Cult, share this video with them. Keep typing in your questions here later as well, and we'll try and answer as many of them as possible. And if you're not already following us on social media, you should be, because we constantly put out updates about our workouts, about our processes, and everything that you need to know. So yeah, I think there's nothing left to say, but you're Cult.
Except 3 to 1, we are Cult. Yeah.
We are Cult. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, Muji and Rishabh. This has just been a fantastic session. Those of you who joined us live, thank you. so much for joining. I hope we helped answer all of your questions. Look out for our next Fit Talk coming real soon. And until then, check out your app, and if a call center is open near you, go book the class. Okay? Okay, guys. See you. Bye bye.